What happens when a high value man gets involved with a low value woman? You get a double standard. Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today. Recently, actor Shemar Moore announced that he is going to be a father at 52 years old. And the woman who your Shemar Moore chose to go out here and have his child with shows to me a clear double standard as to how your so-called high-value men perceive black women and white women. Now, many of these so-called high-value men, like Shemar Moore, oftentimes have a laundry list of criteria for the black women that they get involved with, and they insist that many of these black women go out here and meet this criteria if they hope to even consider being approached by them. So many of these high value black men, like a Shemar Moore, what they will do is say that many of the black women on their same economic and social level are average at best, even though many of these women are childless. Many of them have a good foundation in moral values, and many of these women would be quality wives for this black man. But he oftentimes says that since they miss one little note on their list of details, this disqualifies them for being approached for a relationship. But what's really troubling here is while they have these high standards for black women, they don't have these standards for your white or non-black women. And that is the thing that shows the double standard as related to men like your Shemar Moore, who passed over all of those quality black women to get involved with a white woman and decided to have a child with this white woman who already has 2 children by 2 different fathers. And that really shows how, again, we have a clear double standard as related to how some of these high-value black males perceive your black women and your white women. Because I doubt that your Shemar Moore would have gone out here and gotten involved with a black woman who had 2 children by 2 different fathers, and I doubt that he would have gotten involved with that woman because it wouldn't have been considered to be socially acceptable. Because for your so-called high-value men, if he had gotten involved with a black single mother with 2 kids by 2 different fathers, he would have been derided by his peers, and he would have also been derided by the mainstream media, who have gone out here and tried to present the story as positive. But there's nothing positive about a black man who goes out here and has absolutely no standards and has a double standard on top of that. Because your Shemar Moore, by choosing this white woman who has 2 kids by 2 different fathers, basically shows me that the so-called standards of your so-called high-value man are arbitrary, and they have a clear double standard between your black women and your white and non-black women. They oftentimes go out here and demand that your black woman go out here and be of the highest caliber of character and have the highest standards as related to moral position, but they don't want to choose those black women to go out here and build a family with. No, what they do is go and say that they want to go out here and build a family with a white woman who clearly possibly has a low moral position, because only a woman with low moral position is going to have 2 kids by 2 different fathers. And you have a black man who goes out here and believes, oh, I have a consistent standard. No, your Shemar Moore doesn't have a consistent standard, because he holds the black woman to a completely different standard, but goes out here and looks to build not even build a family. He goes out here to have a baby with a white female who has two kids by two different fathers. And again, low standards as related to the white and the non-black woman, but high standards demanding that black women go out here and meet this laundry list of criteria as related to possibly even being considered to be approaching them. But you will go out here and approach a white female who is what I would call in many of my books a bust down, and you would go out here and approach this woman to not only have a relationship but also have a baby with. Now, what's even more troubling about Shemar Moore's standards is that he's going to go out here and he's going to have a baby out of wedlock with this white female who has two kids by two different fathers, and he's sitting there thinking that this is some way good for him, good as a black man. No, this reflects badly on him because it shows that a black man can go out here and make the same poor choices that many in places like the manosphere say that black women go out here and make. Because oftentimes in places like your manosphere, they talk about how many of these black women make bad choices to get with guys like Pookie and Ray Ray, and how they have kids with your Pookie and your Ray Ray having two kids by two different fathers. But when I look at Shemar Moore, he's doing the same thing. He's basically acting like a Pookie, getting with a white female Bonquisha, and as he's getting with this white female Bonquisha that he found in Bust Downtown at 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace value, he's sitting there talking about how he never thought he would be able to have a child, but what he doesn't understand is that he's going out here and perpetuating another generation of dysfunction, and any child he's having is going to be a child in crisis because he's going out here and having a child with a baby mama. He's not having a child in a marriage, and he's not having a child with a wife. In order for your child to grow up healthy, you have to go out here and have a child in a marriage, and I do not mean a marriage by the state definition, which is marriage license and all that stuff. I mean a marriage where you make a vow before the Most High God to make this woman your wife, and you establish a home with that wife so that you can go out here and build your family with that woman. That's not what Shemar Moore is doing. What he's doing is being a baby daddy and participating in the same dysfunction that actress Halle Berry participated in when she decided to go out here and have a baby on her terms without even wanting to have a father actively involved. And your Halle Berry went out here and went down this road to dysfunction. And again, when I look at Shemar Moore, he is the flip side of this, and he's the flip side of this because he is just out here participating in the same dysfunction, and he's participating in the same dysfunction because he has no standard, and he's following the same dysfunctional double standard that actress Halle Berry was following, where she was out here making high demands of black men as related to her relationships. But when it was time to go out here and build and create a family, she went out here and got a low-seed white guy to go out here and have a child with. And on both sides, it just shows how dysfunctional many black folks are as related to going out here and planning a family. Because when you go out here and plan a family, you want to go out here and look for a person with a high moral position, because if you don't have a high moral position, you don't have high values, and if you don't have high values, you're not going to have somebody who can go out here and teach your children healthy values. That's what flew over the head of your Shemar Moore when he went out here and chose to get involved with this model. What flew over his head was the fact that he was out here thinking, oh, I'm going to go out here and have this baby out of desperation because I'm getting old and I fear my own mortality. And because I fear my own mortality, I'm going to go out here and have a child with just any random body, not understanding the most important, decision you will make in your life is who you go out here and choose to go out here and have children with. And it's really important because, again, the woman you choose is going to be the teacher to your children. And when you go out here and choose the wrong woman, you choose someone who will put your children on the road to becoming men and women in crisis. And that's what your Shemar Moore has basically put his children on, the road to becoming men and women in crisis. And they're on that road to becoming men and women in crisis because your Shemar Moore he grew up in dysfunction because his parents divorced, and because his parents divorced, I believe he has a fear of marriage. This is why he's avoided marriage for so long, and he fears going out here and building a family in a marriage. And I can understand because these divorce laws are crazy out here. But again, you don't get married by the state. You get married under a vow of the Most High God. But your Shemar Moore, again, shows me what happens with a lot of black males and how they have double standards because they have no standards at all. And many of these so-called high-value males, they sit there and they have a standard for black women. They want to make black women jump through hoops, but any raggedy white female shows up and they're automatically looking to go out here and have children with them. They're automatically going out here looking to build a family. And I believe it partially goes to a point that the late David Carroll made, that they possibly want to have some mixed children because some black males deify and worship white women the same way many claim in the manosphere that black women deify and worship white men, including myself. They go out here and, again, both sides are worshiping white people, and even though they have issues, their white skin covers that multitude of sins and imperfections, and they're willing to give a pass to that person because they get spellbound by the crystal blue eyes and the creamy white skin. And because they get spellbound, they go out here and believe, oh, I don't have to have any standards because this person is white, and because they're spellbound, they believe that this person, because they have white skin, they are better than they are. And again, this is not how you go out here and choose a partner, because over the course of Shemar Moore's 30 years in the entertainment industry, I believe he possibly had numerous opportunities to go out here and get involved with many quality sisters, but because he had all of these issues as related to himself, he didn't see how many of these sisters were quality, and he missed out on the opportunity at a wife. Your Shemar Moore, again, possibly believing in these impossibly high standards for black women, missed out on a good woman, the same way many women who are swirlers and divestors oftentimes miss out on a good brother because they're so caught up in their feelings about what they've been told about how bad black men are that they go out here, create this laundry list of unrealistic criteria reinforced by Madison Avenue and Hollywood, and what they do is choose not to get involved with a black man because they hear the black man being demonized in media, and instead what they do is go and get one of these bottom shelf brads to get involved with, and that's exactly what Shemar Moore has done, gone out here and gotten involved with a bottom shelf Becky, and again, both of them going out here going to get the scraps and leftovers of other communities instead of seeing the value in the brothers and sisters in their communities, because they have bought into a lot of dysfunctional ideas that were presented to them by white supremacy as related to perception of black men and black women. And again, when I look at Shemar Moore, it just shows me again the double standard that's going on with many black males out here who say, oh, I want to go out here, and if I want to deal with a black woman, she has to go out here and be fit, feminine, and friendly. But when a white female comes along and is busted, ratchet, and ran through, they will go out here and give that white woman a pass, but they won't go out here and support a sister who already meets their criteria. And again, a lot of times they don't want to go out here and get with that sister because they have issues with as related to the way that they were raised. And again, a lot of issues with both your black man and black woman. Now, I know some people say, oh, Shemar Moore is biracial, but his father is black, so he is a black man. And again, it's a black man who has a double standard about who he got involved with, because your Shemar Moore was considered to be a hunk in many of these soap opera magazines. He was just somebody every sister was out here thinking that they could get with. And your Shemar Moore could have had any black woman out here in Hollywood and even all across the country. There were quality sisters who would have possibly gotten with your Shemar Moore at any day or any time, but your Shemar Moore passed on all of those sisters because he basically was spellbound by your white media and believed that he needed to fit into a black box that's acceptable to white people. And he believes that he wants to have a child with this white woman, and he believes that this white woman, sadly, is better than him, even though she's got two kids by two different fathers, and he's going to be number 3 baby daddy. And again, he would rather be a baby daddy to a busted white female rather than be a husband to a black woman. And again, that's quite troubling because it just proves a point on the flip side of what the late David Carroll talked about, how he said many black women would rather be a white man's baby mama or a side piece rather than be a black man's husband. So on both sides, we've got serious self-hate issues, and these issues really show again how backwards many of the standards are in the black community, because if you have one set of standard for white and one set of standard for black, then you're not going to find a quality partner to have a healthy relationship with. Now, if you want to learn more about what leads to this kind of dysfunction, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Why 70% of Black Women Are Single at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, All About Nikki, a fabulous first season. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air meets Clueless in this absolutely fabulous African-American 1990s teen sitcom. Get all 13 episodes of All About Nikki, the fabulous first season, in paperback and e-readers today.